it's all about how you're viewing it. And again, that's why I think like these men who are so upset and these women who are so upset, we need to change their perspective. Everyone will have more compassion for each other and it'll bring them closer together.
If you believe bad about people, if you're a man, you believe bad about women. If you're a woman, you believe bad about men. You're going to find that. Mm-hmm. If you believe good, to a point of naivety even, right? Where you're willfully ignorant about the bad, you're just overlooking, like you're not going to see it. You're just going to have a good view. Then you're going to find it.
That's what people should be doing because we've talked about this, that sometimes women don't like to go on dates because they're like, oh, I have to tell him my whole life story over and like I hate doing that. But you should be learning from all this stuff, right? Instead of like trying to shun people into being what you want, realize that they're not who you want. They're not on your level. They're not what you're looking for. Wish them the best and move on with your life.
It's like, and you can even co-create the reality, right? Because it's like part of the reason why you transformed in that way was partially because I believed that you're not a mean person. I reinforced that viewpoint so many times because my view of you was different than maybe what your own view of you was at some point, and that influenced it, just like your view of me influences me. And so it's also the same thing as if you treat people as if they're bad, they will become bad, right? Because that's what they're gonna live up to your expectation, right? And so but the opposite is true, which is what you were just saying.
Well, and
is
it
that
can stem from a lot of things though, because like I want to go back to the thing with my mom because it stemmed from my perspective growing up, right? Mm-hmm. But then when I realized that she was doing the best that she could, and she didn't even necessarily do anything horrible, but it's just like when I became enlightened enough in my own mind and wisdom and knowledge and whatever, I could look back and be like, she did the best that she could because she, grew up this way. And again, it kind of goes back to looking at somebody at 4 years old. Like what she went through at 4 years old, I know was worse than what I went through at 4 years old. Yeah. And now I'm trying to be better for, our daughter. And so it's like, she did the best that she could. Yeah. And now I have to do the best I can. Right. And so I apologize to her for treating her that, when I was more frustrated with her. Sure. Like, you can get there. Yeah. Like, it's all about how you're viewing it. And again, that's why I think like these men who are so upset and these women who are so upset, like we need to change their perspective in some way. I mean, I know we can't change people, but I'm just saying by talking about all of this, hopefully they can realize that if you reframe a lot of the stuff that's going on, everyone will have more compassion for each other and it'll bring them closer together, which is what they want at their core. Under all that hate on either side, they want to find a man or woman that they can spend the rest of their life with.
And sometimes it is better to be willfully ignorant, right? In the sense that, just like we said, if you believe bad about people, if you're a man, you believe bad about women. If you're a woman, you believe bad about men. You're going to find that. Mm-hmm. If you believe good, to a point of naivety even, right? Where you're willfully ignorant about the bad, you're just overlooking, like you're not going to see it. You're just going to have a good view. Then you're going to find it. You know what I mean? And sometimes just the act of that alone can change. It's a powerful thing that you can try in any kind of discussion when you're with someone who is trying to be negative. Right. Reframe everything they're saying in a positive light. And then pretty soon watch what happens. They start being positive. Because with all the stuff that even if they're trying to be negative and trying to insult you or call you names, just reframe it as compliments to you and reframe all that stuff, and you would actually reshape the whole thing. But that's what you have to do, is you have to view the world from a more positive viewpoint, and then it will conform itself to that viewpoint. But if you're constantly thinking negative and constantly thinking about how bad women are, or constantly thinking how bad men are, you're not going to get out of the trap.
So going back to the beginning, if I was a man and I saw these women posting this, what I would do is be like, those are obviously women I don't want to date. But I know that there are women out there who would not act this way, who do not think this way.
Exactly.
And I know they exist, and I know that I'll end up with that person because that's what I want.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's, I feel like, a very realistic way to look at it rather than being like, all women are like this. And the same with women. Like, if you see men complaining in the comments or saying some stuff that you don't agree with, all you have to do is be like, I will not be with a man like that. Like, that is not the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And you move on. And you, like you said, you swipe past that. You don't even have to leave a comment. That's not going to do anything. Like, especially those people who want you to like engage and
be... It's pulled you in.
Exactly. You just keep scrolling. Like, just know that, okay, that I don't want to be with someone like that. And without getting into a whole nother topic, that's what people should be doing. Because we've talked about this, that sometimes women don't like to go on dates because they're like, oh, I have to tell him my whole life story over and out. Like, I hate doing that. But the thing is that if you view dating or even scrolling online as, okay, I'm going to learn something. I'm learning like, okay, if a guy thinks like this, he's probably not the guy for me. So I would not go on a date with somebody who said something like that, or vice versa. That way you're learning from this experience. And if you go on dates, you should be learning from those experiences what you like and what you don't like. And you don't have to be mean about that. Like I said, you don't have to leave a comment on a video. You don't have to tell a guy like, F you, this was the worst date of my life. You could just be like, hey, I don't think it's going to work out. And that's how you should react. But you should be learning from all this stuff, right? Instead of like trying to shun people into being what you want, realize that they're not who you want. They're not on your level. They're not what you're looking for. Wish them the best and move on with your life.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So again, same with the bear and the man thing. You don't have to engage in that conversation because, and two, when you engage in those sort of conversations, the man and the bear thing, the woman liking the serial killer thing, you are on the same level as someone commenting that, in my mind. Like guys being like, look, women like hot guys, they don't care. I'm like, you look just as bad as the women reposting this in my mind, because
you're supporting,
you're perpetuating it. Like now women are going to do it to spite you.
You're reinforcing that reality. If it's a reality that you don't like, don't reinforce the reality.
Exactly. Ignore it. It doesn't, it doesn't have to involve you. It doesn't even have to affect you. That's what people don't understand. And a lot of people, especially on the internet, don't understand because they want to leave their comments and be like, you know, put their 2 cents in, which is fine. But it's like, sometimes it's best to just scroll on by.
Any dog trainer will tell you, ignore negative behavior and reinforce positive behavior. Don't pay attention to the negative behavior.
Which means reinforce our podcast.